what is this? Oh, we got a little
Holy shit.
Man, oh man, we're just looking at some of these. It brings me right back to the day. Sunday River Brewing Company. We're doing like Driver 8. I don't know if this is the one, but I remember doing an acoustic set there. The parties afterwards, like at Ski and Laura Malinaski's house. Glockler driving the van over somebody's septic tank. In the snow. There's a muddy surprise waiting for everybody.
I mean, God, this is a book's worth of material right here. The one that jumps out to me is we played at the Hoot Owl in Canton, which is where St. Lawrence is, which is like basically Canada, and we would rock it because everybody had friends who went to UVM, and it was right across the lake, and it was just this bit, and there's nothing to do in Canton, New York, except for booze, and that's what people do at St. Lawrence. So it was always a fun time, and then we'd find ourselves at like 2 or 3 in the morning, kind of like with nowhere to stay. And no bread, and like no even real concept of a hotel, I don't think.
No, we'd never go to hotels back then.
So we'd sleep on, frat house floors or like abandoned rooms in the frat house or something like that. And I think you know where this is going. At one point, we literally, so the Hoot Owl was an old train station, and we had nowhere to go, and we just went and slept by the train tracks.
Well, we didn't know we were by the train tracks. We thought we found a nice, cool field to mellow out in. That's an important detail.
The most important detail that I was going for is that you slept on your army coat and woke up in the morning. You had slept on a turd, yeah. Slept on a dog turd.
But do you remember in the middle of the night? We didn't know we were by train tracks. All of a sudden, this train just came roaring through the field, and we all thought we were going to die. I made that up, but we all woke up like in a panic in the middle of the night.
I just remember thinking it doesn't get any more real than that. Yeah, sleeping in a pile of dog turd. And what else jumps at Colby College? I remember that. That was like a
great night.
That was like a. There's so many variables, right? It's like how you're getting along with each other interpersonally, the sound on the stage, the enthusiasm of the crowd. And Colby College was like one of the first times that I remember feeling like we were, something other than a local band.
It was elevated.
Yeah.
For me, that one, I remember maybe first year at UVM, racing home for summer vacation because Fish played that room, and they were playing that night. It was in May of 90, 91. And I brought my little brother to it, and it was just the most amazing, ridiculous. I don't know if you guys know that one, but it's worth looking up. A great show. And so it was always kind of in the back of my mind as we were starting to get into the venues they played, like, man, I hope we should do that Colby room sometime. And so when we played there, it was sort of like an arrival for me personally, just like, I saw an awesome show here. Let's put on an awesome show. And our show was good. So
it was a good show, yeah.
I felt like we were kind of keeping the tradition alive for other people that saw a show in that venue.
I think I remember that. That's probably part of what made it. I remember you telling that story and thinking about the fact that Fish had been there a few years earlier doing the same thing.
Felt like we were on the right path.
Yeah.
Let's see, man, so many.
Gates of Hell, Denison College.
Yes, Gates of Hell.
Or maybe that's Kenyon, one of them in
That's
Ohio.
what we were told when we were that was the word on the street was that we were playing in the town was the actual gates of hell on earth are there, which could be true.
Sort of felt that way to me at the time. The Bull and Beer House, which was just a, really what it sounds like, just a pub in the basement in Portsmouth or Plymouth, New Hampshire.
That was fun. We caught on early. That was the place where the fire caught early. It was fun.
And that's I think proof in the pudding that it's really about the energy and the crowd and not necessarily the room or even the size of the audience, because I don't know what the energy was like 100 people or something, and people would flip out and we would flip out in return, and it was just like raging.
Yeah. How about this one? Wetlands Preserve, 3/23/96. That must be the first time. Do you remember that driving down to New York when it was like still old New York? Like Times Square was full of hookers, and it's like I remember we were just these boys from Vermont peering out of our van window, like half hiding, like just like eyes bugging out of our heads, like, oh my god.
I
It's
definitely
totally
remember
different
that.
now than it was, but it feels like that was the last vestige of the old New York.
The two cities I remember feeling that way, like as we pulled in, across the line or approached them, were New York the first time, and then of course San Francisco. Right?
Yeah,
That was like,
absolutely.
That was like, for the music that we played, this is Mecca.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, we did the High Sierra Music Festival. We did the amazing show up at the Crystal Ballroom in Portland, and then Great American Music Hall wasn't the first time, but that was our next target.
Right, we played
That was-
Sweetwater, and
yeah,
I remember
the original.
The original, yeah, I remember that. And
Which was like a hallway. It was like playing with your back. Like that was the back end of the room. Do you remember that? Or is that not Sweetwater?
yeah, no, that was Sweetwater. Yeah,
Actually, I'm thinking there was one other place in San Francisco that we played. That's
it
sort
says
of
the
off
Last
radar.
Day Saloon, which
That's
I don't
it. Which we actually
remember
moved
that.
up to Santa Rosa. I saw Mother Hips there in 2006 when I moved there, and much bigger room. But yeah, it was like a hallway. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
It's right when I
do.
got my Paul Reed Smith. It's the first day I played that. Man, thanks for the memories, guys.
This is amazing. Yeah.
This is crazy to look at.
I mean, there's Missoula and Bozeman
Yeah.
and Teton Village in Wyoming, and it was just like, again, like when there are moments, but I think I felt like we had found something when you arrived at each of those places, and we were surprised that people like knew our tunes, right? And this again is before the internet. So the fact that somebody that it had found like through a tape a home in Bozeman, Montana, enough so where we played the gig, there were people, first of all, there were people there at all, and then secondly, they were singing the tunes, and it was kind of like, whoa, that was like feeling electricity or something for the first time.
Yeah, I remember it was like the feeling of like, it's not our friends anymore. Like the crowd used to be just our buddies and like, hey, how you doing? And it's like then it's got a kind of concentric circle or bigger than that. And then by that time, it was like beyond them. So we didn't even have any connection to some of these people. It's like, wow, okay, it's an interesting sensation getting to that level. It was exciting.
Yeah, I remember that too, feeling that way too, like the friends circle. I think I remember it
Friends of
because
friends.
my dad used to ask how many people came to the show, and he was trying to assess whether or not it was all our friends or not. So if I was like 100, I remember 100 people said they came to see us at the Wetlands, and he was like, well, couldn't have been all your friends.